Greetings! Manta79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days! And alright, let's begin. Pressing the A button now. Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, off to edit deck menu. And now, for the deck I'm building today's deck profile video, I'm building Keter Sanctuaries, Majesty Lord Blaster, D-BT09. And okie dokie, selecting the deck, entering edit deck, and off we go! Here we are in the edit deck menu. Like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building in today's deck profile video is a Keter Sanctuaries, Majesty Lord Blaster deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT09. And affirmative, selecting the filter settings and to pack, show only cards from D-BT1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT2, A Brush of the Legends, D-BT3, Advance of Intertwined Stars, D-BT4, Awakening of Chakrabarti, D-BT5, Triumphant Return of Brave Heroes, Festival Collection 2021, Festival Collection 2022, Promo Pack number 1, D-BT6, Blazing Dragon Reborn, D-BT7, Raging Flame Against Emerald Storm, D-BT8, Minerva Rising, and D-BT9, Dragon Tree Invasion. Apply filter and cards filtered. Let's begin. First up, the Grade 3 lineup. And now for the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Grade 3, Majesty Lord Blaster. Skills, first skill, continuous as a Vanguard. If your soul has a Blaster Blade and a Blaster Dart, this unit gets plus 2000 power and plus 1 critical. Active on opponent's turn 2. Second skill, auto is a Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, perform all of the following. You can choose to perform only one. First effect, put a Blaster Blade from rear guard into your soul. If the cost and paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Second effect, put a Blaster Dart from your rear guard into your soul. If the cost and paid, this unit gets drive plus 1 until end of turn. So for Majesty Lord Blaster, it's the main Grade 3 to ride in this deck. Its skills, the first skill, as long as the conditions of the first skill are met, your Majesty Lord Blaster will then get a continuous plus 2000 power and plus 1 critical. And the best part is, this skill is active on your opponent's turn 2, so the increased 2000 power will make it harder for your opponent to land any attacks on your Vanguard, making this first skill a powerful offensive ability and a defensive ability. Second skill, when your Vanguard Majesty Lord Blaster attacks an opponent's Vanguard, you can pay the cost to not only retire your opponent's rear guards, but to also increase your Vanguard's drive check, giving you a better chance to either to get triggers or to restock your hand. And alrighty, the Grade 3 Majesty Lord Blaster, we have 4 in the deck, 1 in the ride deck, 3 in the main deck. Next up, the Grade 3 Normal Order Gradia Gradel. Skills, first skill, continuous, Regulus piece. You may only have 1 Regulus piece in your deck and use it a total of 1 time in a fight. Second skill, order, plays if you have a Grade 3 Vanguard with Persona Ride and you do not ride this turn, activate Persona Ride. Draw a card, all of your front row units gets plus 10,000 power this turn, and you are rewarded to have Persona Ride. So for Gradia Gradel, a powerful order card to play in any deck in the D standard format. With its skill, when activated while the conditions of the skill are met, you can activate a Persona Ride effect, which is to draw more cards, to give your entire front row, Vanguard and Rear included, a huge boost of power, and to also activate Persona Ride. Thus, any skills that require you to have Persona Road, this order card can substitute for that effect. And okie dokie, the Grade 3 Gradia Gradel, we have 1 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 3 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 2 lineup. And now, for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Grade 2 Blaster Blade. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, cost, Counterblast 1. If the cost and paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If you do not retire, draw a card. Second skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, cost, Counterblast 1. If the cost and paid, choose one of your opponent's Grade 2 or greater rear guards and retire it. So for Blaster Blade, it's one of the main Grade 2s to play in this deck. Its skills, the first skill, when ridden, by paying the cost, you can retire one of your opponent's rear guards, and if the secondary condition of this first skill is met, you can instead draw more cards to restock your hand with. Second skill, when called, by paying the cost, you can retire one of your opponent's rear guards, giving you a better advantage. And alrighty, the Grade 2 Blaster Blade, we have 4 in the deck, 1 in the right deck, 3 in the main deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Blaster Dark. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle or rear guard circle, cost Counterblast 1 and retire one of your other rear guards. If the cost is paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And this unit gets drive +1 until end of turn. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard during your turn. If your rear guard is retired this turn, this unit gets +5,000 power. So for Blaster Dark, one of the other main Grade 2s to play in this deck, its skills, the first skill, when ridden or called, by paying the cost, you can retire one of your opponent's rear guards, and if you activate this skill with a Vanguard Blaster Dart, it gets drive +1, giving you an easier chance to get triggers or to restock your hand with the increased drive checks. And the second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met, your rear guard Blaster Dart can serve as a potential 15,000 point attacker for your front row. And okie dokie, the Grade 2 Blaster Dark, we have 4 in the deck. Up next, the Grade 2 Magic of Alteration Turnar. Skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the bout, this unit attacks while boosted. If your damage zone has 3 or more face down cards, cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, countercharge 1. So for Turnar, a pretty good Grade 2 to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks with its skill. After attacking while boosted, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, not only do you get to restock your soul for later soul blasts, but you can also refund your counterblast for later skills. And affirmative, the Grade 2 Magic of Alteration Turnar. We have 4 in the deck. And then the Grade 2 Knight of Inheritance Emmeline. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the rear guard circle from hand, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card with Blaster and its card name from among them, call it 2 to the rear guard, or reveal it, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you put a card into hand, choose a card from hand and discard it. Second skill, auto as a rear guard. When your unit with Blaster and its card name attacks, this unit gets +5,000 power until end of turn. So for Emmeline, a support card for the Blaster series. With her skills, the first skill, when called and paying the cost, you can check the top cards of your deck for a Blaster to call to the rear guard to serve as a potential front row attacker, or a rear guard whose skill you wish to take advantage of in the game. And the second skill, while on the rear guard, whenever a Blaster on your field, Vanguard or rear guard attacks, you get +5,000 power to Emmeline. And the best part is, this second skill is stackable. If you attack multiple times with Blasters on your field, both rear guard and Vanguard included, you can continue to add more power to Emmeline, making Emmeline a powerful front row attacker to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And confirm, the Grade 2 Knight of Inheritance Emmeline. We have 4 in the deck. And at that, which is about cover the deck's Grade 2 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 1 lineup. And now for the deck's Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 1, Little Sage Marin. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is rode upon by a Grade 2 with Blaster in its card name, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Grade 2 with Blaster in its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal a card, choose a Vanguard Brave from your soul, and you may call it to rear guard. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard during your turn. If you have 3 or more units, this unit gets +2,000 power. So for Marin, he's the main Grade 1 to ride this deck. His skills, the first skill, when ridden on top of by a Grade 2 Blaster, you have the chance to check the top cards of your deck for a Grade 2 Blaster to help in your later game strategy. And in the event you fail to get any Blasters with this first skill, you can then instead Superior Call Vanguard Brave from your soul to the rear guard to serve as a potential front row attacker or back row booster. And the second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met, your rear guard Marins can serve as a potential 10,000 point attacker for your front row or a 10,000 point booster for your back row. And alright, the Grade 1 Little Sage Marin, we have 1 in the right deck. Next up, the Grade 1 Aegis Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards with Continuous Sentinel in the deck. Second skill, Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from hand and discard it. So for Aegis Dragon, a Perfect Guard for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when used to guard with and discarding 1 card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But it also features an ability unique to all Perfect Guards in the D standard format, which is, when used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Aegis Dragon a potential no-cost Perfect Guard in desperate last resort situations. And okie dokie, the Great One, Aegis Dragon, we have 3 in the deck. And up next, the Great One, Blitz Order, Elementary Sanctitude. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards with Continuous Sentinel in the deck. Second skill, Continuous. You may only have 1 Elementary Sanctitude in the deck. Third skill, Order. If your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, this ability can be played without paying the cost. Plays if it costs of, discard a card from hand if your Vanguard is grade 3 or less. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. Remove this card. So for Elementary Sanctitude, it's the Blitz Order version of the Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when played, discard 1 card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But ideally, Elementary Sanctitude works best against opponents who play decks that specialize in having a Vanguard triple drive. For example, Grade 4s, G units, or Vanguards who have their drive just increased by skill or card effect. Against such opponents, Elementary Sanctitude then can serve as a potential no-cost Perfect Guard. And alrighty, the Great One, Elementary Sanctitude, we have 1 in the deck. And then next up, the Great One, Dragon Tree Wretch, Solda Sakab. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rear guard, cost, Counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, choose one of your rear guard circles without any Dragon Tree markers and put a Dragon Tree marker. Second skill, Auto, from the back row rear guard, once per turn. When your rear guard is placed in the front row in the same column as this unit, cost, Counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, draw a card. So for Solda Skahap, it's a pretty good Great One to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks with its skill. The first skill, when called and paying the cost, you can place a Dragon Tree marker in your rearguard circle, thus enabling you to use any skills that require you to have Dragon Tree markers in your field. Any second skill, while on the back row rearguard, when you call a rearguard in the front row in the same column as Solda Skahap, by paying the cost, you can draw more cards to restock your hand with. And okay, the Great One, Dragon Tree Wretch, Solda Skahap, we have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Great One, Knight of Old Fate, Cordelia. Skill, Continuous, from the back row center rear guard. If your Vanguard is Majesty Lord Blaster, this unit gets all of the following. Auto, as a rear guard. At the end of battle, this unit boosted, cost, Counterblast 1. If the cost and pay, choose up to 1 Blaster Blade and 1 Blaster Dart, each from your soul, call them to each to the rear guard in the same column. And the second effect, Continuous, as a rear guard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your grade 2 rear guards get boost. So for Cordelia, a support card for the Majesty Lord Blaster. With her skill, as long as she's on the back row center rear guard circle while the conditions of her skill are met, you can activate 2 effects. The first effect, well, after boosting, by paying the cost, you can superior call a Blaster Blade and Blaster Dart into the 1 column to serve as a front row attacker and back row booster to help in your upcoming attempts to pressure or finish off your opponent. And this first effect combos with the second effect, which is, as long as the conditions of the second effect are met, you can boost with grade 2 rear guards, give you more options to power up your upcoming attacks to make it easier to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And affirmative, the Great One, Knight of Old Fate, Cordelia, we have 4 in the deck. And at that, we just about covered the deck's Great One lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 0 lineup. And now, for the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 0, Wingull Brave. Skill, Auto. When this unit is rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Wingull Brave, it's the starting unit of this deck. Like any other starting unit in the D standard format, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when written on top of, if you're the second to go in the game, draw 1 card. And alright, the Grade 0 Vanguard Brave, we have one in the right deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 0 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's trigger lineup. And now for the trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we are playing the Grade 0 Light Dragon D-BT Honors Amatonia Overtrigger. Skill trigger additional effect. Until end of turn, you also perform drive checks for the battles your rearguards attack. So for Amatonia, the overtrigger for the Keter Sanctuary Nation, like any other overtrigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw 1 card. But he also features an ability unique to him alone, which is, when revealed in a drive check on your turn, for the rest of that turn, all of your rear guards can also perform drive checks on their attacks, thus enabling you to get a better chance of getting triggers or to simply restock your hand with the increased drive checks. And alrighty, the Grade 0 Light Dragon D-BT Honors Amatonia Overtrigger, we have one in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Blade Feather Dragon Critical Trigger. Skill Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units and it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Blade Feather, a powerful critical trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks of its skill. After boosting attack, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving Blade Feather from your rear guard to your soul, not only do you get to give yourself more cards to Soul Blast with later in the game, but you can also give the remaining attackers in your field, Vanguard or rear guard, a little extra power to work with. And okay, the Grade 0 Blade Feather Dragon Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next, the Grade 0 Daring Knight Saul Critical Trigger, we have 3 in the deck. And then, the Grade 0 Protection Magic Parabi Draw Trigger. Skill continuous as a Guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Parabi, a powerful draw trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks of its skill, when used to guard with, while the conditions of her skill are met, Parabi then can serve as a potential 10,000 point shield all on her own. Affirmative, the Grade 0 Protection Magic Parabi Draw Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. And then the Grade 0 Healer of Heavenly Staff Arceus Heal Trigger, we have 2 in the deck. And then the Grade 0 Affectionate Harp Angel Heal Trigger. Skill Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if your Vanguard's grade is less than your opponent's Vanguard grade, this unit gets plus 10,000 shield until end of battle. So for Affectionate Harp Angel, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks of her skill, when used to guard with, while the conditions of her skill are met, Affectionate Harp then can serve as a potential 20,000 point shield on her own. Ideally, Affectionate Heart is a counter heal best put against your opponent when you go second in the game, or if your opponent plays a deck that specializes in having a Vanguard of a higher grade, for example, Grade 4s or G units. Against such opponents, Affectionate Heart can be a very powerful defender to protect you with. And confirm, the Grade 0 Affectionate Heart Angel Heal Trigger, we have 2 in the deck. And at that, the trigger lineup is done. And with that, the deck's been built, card effects explained. For the cards in this deck, we are playing 4. Grade 3, Majesty Lord Blaster. 1. Grade 3, Gradia Gradel. 4. Grade 2, Blaster Blade. 4. Grade 2, Blaster Dark. 4. Grade 2, Magic of Alteration, Turinar. And 4. Grade 2, Knight of Inheritance, Emeline. 3. Grade 1, Aegismere Dragon. 1. Grade 1, Elementaria Sanctitude. 1. Grade 1, Little Sage Marin. 3. Grade 1, Dragon Tree Wretch, Sawdust Skahab. 4. Grade 1, Knight of Old Fate, Cordelia. And 1. Grade 0, Vanguard Brave, starting unit. And for the triggers in this deck, we are playing 1. Grade 0, Light Dragon D-BT Honors or Amatonia Overtrigger. 7. Critical triggers. 4. Draw triggers. And 4. Heal triggers. And alright, deck built, card effects explained. Now let's get on to testing of the deck. And here we are in the main menu. going to test out a deck, so heading over to Fight menu, CPU Fight, selecting the deck I just showcased, the Keter Sanctuaries, Majesty Lord Blaster, D-BT09 deck, and selecting the deck, choosing my opponent. The opponent I'm gonna test it out on, let me see. I guess I'll test it out on, how about the, Alright, testing out against Keter Sanctuaries, Kuro Minato, normal difficulty, and click. The battle begins. Let's get started. Here we are in the fight. We're gonna decide who goes first, so rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper to scissors, I lose, going second. Draw starting hands, I got myself a perfect guard, a Solda Skahap, a Turner, a over trigger, and a draw trigger. That's a pretty rough starting hand. Holding on to all the normal units, redrawing all triggers, redraw! Yes! Gradel, and the great one, Cordelia, got everything I need. He rides the great one, ties to your sorceress, end of their turn, my turn, draw! Draw heal trigger. Fine, I ride from the right deck, Little Sage Marin. Right deck cost, I am discarding. This is a tough choice. Guess I'll discard a heal trigger and ride Little Sage Marin. Skill of Wingal Brave. Draw one card and draw another Solda Skahap. I call to the rear guard Solda Skahap and Cordelia. Battle phase. No, hold on. Calling another. Nope, saving up the one in my hand. Battle phase. Solda Skahap attacks the Vanguard. 8k. The attack goes through. Slash. 1 damage. Damage check. Yes. No trigger. Safe. One more attack. Boosted by Cordelia. Marin attacks the Vanguard. 16k. The attack goes through. Drive check. Yes. Draw trigger. I draw. Another Cordelia. Power to Vanguard. 26,000 power. And boom. Damage check. No trigger. Safe. That's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Great 2, Pentagleam Sorceress, Tier Square skill, pay the cost, and draw. Calling to the rear guard, Pastilios and Tartine. Tartine skill, pay the cost, and place one card on top of the deck. Calling Falchiata. Falchiata the Vanguard. He left the card on top, so it's guaranteed to be a trigger properly. I'll block the first attack and let the remaining 2 attacks go through. I guard with draw trigger, Parabi, guard. 13k. And ka-chink, safe. Here comes an attack from the Vanguard, 10k. No guard, gonna take it. Try check. Yep, called it. Critical trigger. Crit the Vanguard and power to the rear guard, 2 damage. Here it comes. Skill the rear guard. Paying the cost to power up. Oh, that's a lot of power. Here it comes. Ow. Damage check. Yes, draw trigger. Another lucky draw. Draw. Power up. Yes, Blaster Dark. I got what I need for my next turns. Second check. No trigger. Here comes Pastilios. Nothing left to guard with. Let it go through. No guard. Ow. Damage check. No trigger, perfect guard. That's not good. End of my opponent's turn. My turn. Stand and draw. Drew a critical trigger. Well, I can protect myself at least with this card, so I ride from the right deck to Blaster Blade. Right deck cost, I discard. Cordelia, discard and ride. Blaster Blade. Skill of Marin. Check the top cards of my deck. Yes, I'm adding Blaster Dark to my hand. Next up, Blaster Blade skill. Counterblast 1. Counterblast. Retire 1 rear guard. I am retiring Pastilios. Then I move Solda Skahap to the back and call Turnar to the rear guard. Call. Then activating Skahap skill. Counterblast 1. Counterblast. And draw. Draw. Not another critical. whatever, I need more cards to protect myself with, so it's not too bad, I guess. So I call Ska Hop to the rear guard, and not activating Ska Hop skill, I call Blaster Dark. Call. Not activating Ska Hop skill, I activate Blaster Dark skill. Counter Blast 1, retire the Ska Hop in the left column. Retire one of my opponent's rear guards. I retire the back row Tartine. Power up, and that ought to do it. On to the battle phase. Blaster Dark, attack the rear guard, Fasciata. 15k. The attack goes through. Slash. One less card to worry about. Now, boosted by Cordelia, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 18k. The attack goes through. Drive check. No trigger, Emmeline. Not a bad draw. 1 damage. Slash. Damage check. No trigger, safe. Now, boosted by Ska Hop, my rear guard Turnar attacks the Vanguard, 18k. Guarding with a heal trigger. The attack fails, but now here comes my Turner skill. After attacking while boosting, the conditions are met. Move into the soul and countercharge 1. Countercharge. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Grade 3 Hexa Orb Sorceress. Pentagloom skill, arranging the top cards of his deck, and calling the rear guard, Fasado. Vanguard to Vanguard. He rearranged the top cards of his deck. His rear guard's gonna get a huge power boost of Hexa Orb skill, so I should guard with a critical trigger, 25k, 2 to pass. First check. Front trigger. Power to the front row and skill of the Vanguard, giving power to Fasado. Come on, nothing in the second check, please. Heal trigger, seriously? Double trigger. Power to Vanguard, and the attack breaks through my guard. So unlucky. I should let the attack go through. He shatters my defense. Ow! Damage check. No trigger. This is really bad. Fasado to Vanguard. Perfect Guard activated. I discard for the Perfect Guard cost A. Critical trigger. Perfect Guard. Ka-chink. Safe. This is getting really bad. My turn, stand and draw. Oh, come on, a heal trigger for real? This is getting really bad for me. I discard Gradia Ghetto. I might not be guaranteed to survive the next turn, so discard a Persona Right, prioritize defense, right Majesty Lord Blaster. I call Emmeline to rear guard. Call Emmeline's skill. Soul Blast 1, Soul Blast, and check the top cards of my deck for a Blaster. Adding Blaster Dark to my hand. Oh, nope. Yep, calling it to rear guard instead. Call. And then activating Ska Hop skill, Counter Blast 1, Counter Blast, and draw a card, Blaster Dark skill, Counter Blast 1, and retire the Blaster Dark in the front row. Retire one of my opponent's rear guards, retiring Fasado. Wait, what? That's right, I forgot. Fasado's a resist skill. That was a really stupid mistake. This is getting really bad. Blaster Dark to the front row and going to battle phase. Blaster Dark to the rear guard Fasado. 15k to 13k. Skill of Emmeline plus 5,000 power. The attack goes through and slash. One rear guard down. Boosted by Cordelia. Majesty Lord Blaster attacks the Vanguard. 21,000 power. Skill of Emmeline plus 5,000 power. Power up and Majesty Lord skill. I move Blaster Dark into the soul. Drive plus 1. Perfect guard for real. Skill of Aegis Mirror, discarding. Heal trigger. Triple drive, come on, first check. Blaster Blade, second check. Majesty Lord, third check, come on, give me something. Yes, critical trigger. I still have a chance. Giving all effects to Emmeline. Boosted by Ska Hop. Emmeline attacks the Vanguard. 38,000 power, 2 criticals. The attack goes through. Pierce. 2 damage first. No trigger, Fasado. 1 less card to worry about. Second check. No trigger, perfect guard. 1 less card to worry about. That's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. Battle phase, 13k. I can't afford to get even 1 critical, so guard with heal trigger and critical trigger, 45k. Over trigger to pass. First check. No trigger. Ah, come on, a perfect guard, seriously. Second check. No trigger, great one. Safe, the attack fails. Ka-chink. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. It's time to Persona Ride. Majesty Lord Blaster, here we go. Persona Ride. Majesty Lord Blaster, power up, draw. Damn it, draw critical trigger. Fine, I'm calling Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark. And that should do it. On to the battle phase. Boosted by Blaster Dark, Blaster Blade attacks the Vanguard. 30k. Emmeline's skill plus 5,000 power. The attack goes through. And slash. Damage check. Ah, come on, a critical for real. Ah, such rotten luck. Boosted by Cordelia, my Majesty Lord Blaster attacks the Vanguard. 33k. 2 criticals. Emmeline plus 5,000 power. Majesty Lord skill, I move. Blaster Dark, not using Blaster Blade. Only moving Blaster Dark into Soul plus 1 drive. Keep perfect guards. Keep perfect guards to discard cost. A front trigger. Triple drive, first check. No trigger. Second check. No trigger. Third check, come on. Yes, draw trigger. I still have a chance. Draw. Power up. And Kachink, the attack fails. Now, boosted by Soda Sakab. Emmeline attacks the Vanguard. 48,000 power. He double guards. 53k. It blocks the attack. But my opponent only has 1 card left in hand. I still have a chance. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. Calling the rear guard, calling again, Pastilios, and Tartine. Tartine skill. Look at the top card of the deck, leaving it on top. Guaranteed a trigger. Okay, if it's a critical trigger, I might not survive. Guarding Whiff, critical trigger. I have no choice, can't afford to get it critical. 30k, 2 triggers to pass. First check. Heal trigger. It's better than nothing, I suppose. The attack fails, but now the attack. No, wait, hold on. Second check. He still has 1 more check. Powering up the rear guard. Come on, nothing. Critical trigger. He powers up his rear guard. Ah, this is getting really bad. Hexorb skill, adding way more power. I made the right choice to block the first attack. Ka-chink! 1 final attack from Pastilios, 50k. Guard, guard, and guard, and guard. Hold on, guard, guard, plus 5,000 shield. Another guard, and another guard. Yep, that should be enough. 55k. The attack is blocked. And ka-chink! Safe. Good, that was a close one. End of my opponent's turn. My turn. Stand and draw. I am Going to Persona Ride. Here we go. Persona Ride one more time. Majesty Lord Blaster. Power up. Draw. Another Cordelia. Then I'm going to call Emmeline to the rear guard. Call. Emmeline's skill. Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast. Checking the top cards of my deck for a blaster. I'm adding Majesty Lord Blaster to my hand and... Yep, adding to hand. For the discard cost, I am discarding Cordelia. That ought to be enough. On to the battle phase. Boosted by Cordelia. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. 33,000 power. Activating Emmeline's skill plus 5,000 power. One more time. Emmeline's skill plus 5,000 power. Not activating my Majesty Lord skill. Double guard. 43k. 1 and intercept. 48k. 2 to pass. First check. Yes! Draw trigger! Now to decide. My opponent has 0 cards left in hand. I can still finish them off, so just giving the power to Emmeline. Draw a card, and you Blaster Blade. Second check. No trigger. Made the right choice. Now, boosted by Emmeline. Blaster Blade attacks the Vanguard. 35k. Skill of Emmeline plus 5,000 power. And again, another 5,000 power. Adding to Blaster Blade's attack, 40k to Vanguard. The attack goes through. Slash. Damage check. Critical trigger. It's fine. She has no cards left in his hand. He cannot block my upcoming attack. Boosted by Soul to Skahop. Emmeline attacks the Vanguard. 48k. And... Pierce. 1 damage. Check. No trigger. 6 damage. I win. That was a pretty tough fight. Despite some mistakes from my side, I still managed to at least use the cards in my deck in a pretty okay manner. I managed to score a win, so I got win, attacked 40,000 more power, perfect guarded, did a Persona Ride, 8 turns passed, did a Superior Call, retired 5 opposing units, and drew 3 more times in 1 turn. I got 2050 BP, total 231,725 BP, pressing A to go next, leaving the fight, returning to fight menu. Here we are in the fight menu, leaving fight menu, going back to the main menu, back in the main menu, off to edit deck menu, and that deck has been built, card effects explained, and I just finished testing the deck out in front of you. So first I want to say is, thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you'll show support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that I say, goodbye and see you.